Hi everyone, I am Dr. Chitrasan Padi, Associate Professor, School Agriculture, SR University Warangal. In this video lecture today, I will explain about the community development and what is the definition of community development, what are the various concepts of community development, objective and aim of community development, meaning of community development, principles and philosophy of community development, and what is the difference between community development and national extension service, and also the basic rural development programs. Then coming to the next slide. So, what do you mean by community development? First, you will see community development is a program of community development. What do you mean by community? First, we can see community means a group consists of a person who are having social interaction, and also they are having a common geographical area, They are having a common geographical area, and they are having some common interest. The community is having some common interest and activities. When they have a basic aim, functioning together means they are functioning together. They are functioning together for the achievement of the goal, functioning together for doing some common work. Then what do you mean by development? Development means it is the orderly movement of individual from lower level to higher level. That is called as lower level of functioning to the higher level of functioning. That is called as development. Then coming to what that is what is community development? Community development is a movement designed to promote better living of the whole community. How the whole community have a better living by how they can participate actively in the various programs, and how initiative community can be done. Then what is this community development technical aid and locally organized self-help community development has been described. Then coming to what is the process of change from the community development means process of change from the traditional way of living to the progressive way of living. Traditional to progressive way of living. Progressive way of living. As you see, method wise, they can be assisted to develop them. How people can assist to help each other. They can develop themselves by utilizing their own capacity and what are the resources available. And what are the resources available? It is a program for implementing certain activities in fields concerning the welfare of rural people. Then movement for progress with a certain emotional and ideological content. Then what do we mean by concept of community development? It is a moment to promote better living for the whole community when the people are actively participating in the various activities. Better living. Coming to the second point, it is a balancer program. It is a balancer program which stimulates local, but what are the potential available in the local areas, how that can be utilized for growth in all directions, and mainly because on self-reliance, how people can be self-reliance by utilization of all the technologies, utilization of all the inputs in the village areas, and with maximum external support and locally organized self-help. External support and locally organized self-help. So it integrates the people and government. Integrate the efforts of people and government to improve economic, social, and cultural conditions. How economic development of people can be possible, how in a society people's social status can be improved, and how it can suited to the cultural conditions of people. Can be suited to the cultural conditions of people. Then it helps communities contribute to national development, encourage use of local initiatives so people can use the initiatives and energy for higher production, energy for higher production, and better living standards, better living standards. How living standards can be better. Then social action process where people organize themselves, identify needs and problems, identify needs and problems, then plan and take collective action. The two essential elements in the community development are one is participation, and another is provision of technical and other services, provision of services, provision of services. So first one is participation in people themselves. People can participate in themselves in the programs and they can put their efforts so that they can improve their level of living with as much reliance as possible of their own initiatives. How they can take the own initiatives and reliance on themselves means pay them themselves to do the depend upon themselves to the work better and how they can get the provisional and other technical helps, provisional and technical and other services, provisional technical and other services in ways that encourage initiative self-help and mutual help and make those more effective. What are the assumptions underlying the philosophy of community development? Communities of people can develop capacity. People can develop their own capacity so that they can solve the problems. And people want change always and can change. And also they should participate in making. They can adjust to the environment, community, or they can control the major changes in the community. Changes in community living that are self-imposed or self-developed have a meaning, and permanent the imposed changes do not have. Then it is a holistic approach as a whole. It should be improved, holistic approach, combined approach it is. Then they can deal successfully with problems. If it is a fragmentary approach, cannot go. Fragmentary means divisional approach cannot go, but a united approach is always essential. Always a united approach is always essential. Then in democracy, people's participation, cooperation, initiatives, and enthusiasm in implementation is very much necessary. And frequently, communities people need help in organizing to deal with it because they need their help. They need help training in organizing to deal with other needs. Deal with other needs. Deal with other needs. Then what are the basic philosophy of community development? So individual development, first individual development is to be improved. Individual development, then development of family is required. What are the basic responsibilities people should know in the community? What are the basic responsibilities people they should know? And self-motivation among people, how it can be possible. Self-motivation and people, how it can be possible. How community development can be possible. How community development can be possible. And development of cooperativeness among the people. Development of how people can cooperate each other for the initiation and development of the programs. Then people can create confidence to science and technology so that they utilize science and technology, they should have a better living. How rural leadership. So leadership is the process of influencing others so that for a better development of the rural communities. So how this development it can be developed. Who are the village leaders? They can be identified and they should get the proper training so that in that way leadership can be developed and they can help for initiation and implementation of the programs and development of other resources for community development. Other resources for community development. What are the various principles of community development? Activities, what are the activities are undertaken? They must correspond to the basic needs of the community. Basic needs of the community. Projects should be identified that based on the needs of people As per the express need that people, projects will be identified in the rural, specific rural areas as per the needs of the community, and local improvement should be achieved through continuous efforts in any field. Our full and balanced community requires concentrated action. If full balanced development is required, then concerted action, cooperative action is required, and the establishment of multi-purpose programs. And change the attitudes in people are important. Change the attitudes in people are as important as the material achievement of community projects during the initial stages of development. Then community development aims at increase and better participation of people, increase and better participation of people in community affairs. How the existing forms can be revised? What is the existing forms of local communities there? How can be revitalized and transition towards effective local administration? How effective local administration can the village area or community can be possible for solving the local problems and fulfilling the local needs? So, how to identify, encourage, and train local leadership? Identification of local leadership. Identification of local leadership is very much essential. Greater reliance in the participation of women and youth in community project. Women and youth in the community projects. To fully effective self-help projects through community require both intensive and extensive assistance by the government. Intensive and extensive assistance are held by the government. So implementation of community development program on a national scale requires. So if the community development program is being implemented, it requires the adoption of consistent policies. Consistent policies, then specific administrative arrangements, a requirement, people should be recruited and they should get the training, and how the local and national, what are the local natural resources that will be identified, and that they should be utilized for mobilized and organized research. What are the researches there? How this can be organized properly? Experimentation research and evaluation. Whether it is how it is evaluated means what is the value ultimately? It is how much benefit it is the community is getting. So the research and non-government organizations, NGOs, non-NGOs, non-government organizations, it should be fully utilized for the benefit of the community. At the local levels, various NGOs are working, national level, various NGOs are working. So international organizations are also working. How they can take better interest for the development of the community. And then economic and social progress at the local level, it leads to the parallel development on a wider national scale. Wider national scale should be there from the local level to the higher level. Then what are the objectives of community development? To increase the agricultural production, because agriculture is basic necessities of life. Agriculture is developed, everything can be developed. And community and integrated development. The extension of new scientific knowledge, development of small and medium irrigation projects, how this can be developed, and development of cooperative organizations. Construction of roads, to increase the adult education, how adult can be educated, and primary education can be more emphasis in the community, village areas or communities. Facilities for entertainment facilities should be there in the villages, and development of construction of primary healthcare center. Primary healthcare center, and the public health service, public health service to inspire the youth for the development program, inspiring youth for the development program. What is the community development program? The community development program was started in the year 1952, 2nd October, soon after independence, aimed at overall development of rural people. It is designed as a multi-sectoral program. It is designed as a multi-sectoral program, and the community development program initiated in the year 1952 mainly covered the key areas agriculture, animal husbandry, irrigation, cooperation, public health, and education and social education are given main emphasis. How better communication can be possible in the rural areas. That is one of the main aspects. How village industries can be developed so that people can depend upon their own resources, goods and services for better development. And this is mainly focused on improving the lives of major rural farming population, how the major rural farming population, they can be benefited, rural farming population, they can be benefited. That is the main emphasis. And all the officers involved, how they can be involved in the implementation of the programs. That is main aspects, implementation of the program, how the district level officers can be involved. And mainly the activities were planned, included towards planning of the program, execution of the program, and evaluation of the program. Evaluation programs up to level, village level. Then what are the major lanes of activity in community development programs? Agriculture and related matters were taken importance. Agriculture and related matters, allied activities. Then irrigation was one of the main aspects. How irrigation facilities can be extended in the rural areas. And better communication facilities in the rural areas. How basic education can be provided to people, basic literacy and basic education can be provided to people. How people can be aware of their own health and also they can aware others about the basic health facilities. And what are the supplementary employment, how people can be engaged with other activities for means revenue generation, and then housing, then training, then social welfare, in social welfare. So the response of the villages to community development program was tremendous, and the government of India decided to expand the response of this program because it is the major developmental programs after independence in 1947. So the community development program was started in the 1952. So it is the major development program in the independent India. And the government of India decided to expand this program to other part of the country. So limited resources. So due to limited resources, it did not expand to other part of the country. It did not expand. Did not permit a rapid expansion of the community programs. So with so much less intense approach in city projects, so another program that is called as NES, National Assistance Service, which is a less intense approach than the community development programs, was started in the year 19, after 1 year, again 1950. The NES was started. What is NES? This is National Extension External extension service. What is the idea behind the NES? The main idea was to cover the whole country by 1960, and the operation unit both in community development program and national national service was development block. The concept of development block was there. Development block. Activities under NES program are less intensive than those of CD, then there's a community development. And what the basic idea is saying? Basic idea is same. Basic idea is same. Basic idea is same. Both are complementary interwoven run concurrently. Each NES block covers 100 villages. 100 villages. Each NES blocks covers 100 villages with 65,000 population. With 65,000 population, each block is headed by the BDO. BDO means block development officer. Each block is headed by block development officer, BDO. BDO. The block development officer, block development officer, and he is helped by extension officer. Extension officer, who is accompanied by another 10 multi-purpose village level workers. 10 multiple village level workers. The NES thought of the agency and city the method to bring about socio-economic transformation of rural people. So NES was thought as the National National Service was thought as the agency, and CD was thought as the method to bring about mainly the meaning of socio-economic transformation. Socio-economic transformation of the rural, transformation of socio-economic transformation of rural people. Socio-economic transformation of rural people. What is the similarity between extension and community development program? Both processes are mainly essentially educative, means to provide the basic education to the people. Both the processes are essentially educative. And for both, the central objective is growth of people, our growth of people, community growth of people means growth of community. Both processes are interdisciplinary. And both planned at aiming to bringing about the change in people. Then both are involved processes means people are involved, and participation of the people in planning and implementation was taken care of. Both are relatively slow processes because it was initiated in the beginning. These are the beginning programs after independence, so relatively slow processes, and both are central government sponsored programs, central government sponsored and supported organizations, and both emphasis on cooperation of people, participation of people, their interest, approach, participation, and local leadership was taken into account. Local leadership was taken into account. How because leadership is something that is influencing the activities of others. And identification of local leaders, identification of local leaders, training local leaders, and after this, how they can develop the rural people, how they can develop the rural people in the rural areas. That is the main aim. So, and both the programs are concerned with the social and economic development. Social and economic development. Social and economic development. Both are how society can be improved. People can uplift their social status. They can get recognition, reputation in society. They can mix with others. How they can link with various institutions, communities, and societies, and how they can have a better interaction with other communities. How they can interact better with the communities that is taken care of, and coming to the summary, basic summary of the today's class. Today we studied about what is the community. Community is a group of people having some common interest and having some common geographical area, sharing some culture, having some common central activities and interest. And you studied about what is development, what is the community development, and what is the concept of community development, basically how the balanced approach can stimulate the local potential for growth in all directions and focusing the self-reliance, self-dependence, and how they can get the minimum external support and getting the minimum external support and locally organized self-help. And how this can help to community contribute to national development, and what are the two essential elements in community development to study. Then what are the assumptions underlying the philosophy of community development, like people can develop their own capacity to develop their problems, then they can participate in making, adjusting, controlling major changes taking place in the communities. Changes in then it is a holistic approach, an integrated approach. All the people can participate, not individualistic approach or not the fragmented approach, not the divisional approach. It is a holistic approach, united approach. And how in democracies, people's cooperation, participation, their enthusiasm, their action in the implementation of the program is very much necessary. And frequently, communities people need help in organizing to deal with their needs. What is the basic philosophy studies like individual development, holistic development, development of family, awareness of the responsibilities and self-motivation for community development, development of cooperativeness among people, to create confidence towards how people can develop the confidence towards science and technology, how rural leadership can be developed in the rural areas, rural institutions, high school, colleges, and then other education institutions, religious institutions, financial institutions, how this can be developed so that people can get the better facility, community can be improved, and what are the other resources in the community, how that can be identified and developed, and what are the principles studied in principles of community development, for example, what are the basic activities are fulfilled that should be correspond to the basic needs of the community. Local improvement can be made through the initiatives of self-help efforts, and change in attitude of people is very much important. Where community development aims to increase people, how they can increasing means they can more participate, better participation in community affairs, the revitalization of the existing reforms of local government, in transition towards effective local administration, and the identification of local leaders is very much important. How people can, more women and youth can be participated in the community project, and what is implementation of community development program in national scale. From the local scale to national scales, the requires adoption of consistent policies, specific administrative arrangements, recruitment and training of personnel, how local and national resources can be mobilized better, and research and experimentation and evaluation can be done better. Then NGOs, non-government organizations, should be fully utilized from the implementation of the programs at the local levels, national level, and international levels, the local NGOs. The national level NGOs, the international level NGOs can be fully utilized for the development of the community. Then economic and social progress requires at the local level necessary parallel development on a wider national scale. What are the objective studies like for increasing agricultural production, community development, how new scientific knowledge can be extended, small and irrigation projects can be developed for agricultural purposes, cooperative organization can strengthen for the fulfillment of the needs of the community, then how roads can be constructed, how adult education can be provided in the wet areas, primary education, entertainment, construction of primary health care center, public service to get inspiration youth for development programs. Then the first major rural development programs after independence was initiated in the year 2nd October 1952, that is called a CD program or community development program, which aimed at overall development of rural people covering the key areas agriculture, animal husbandry, irrigation, cooperation, public health, education, social education, communication, village industries. Then in focus on improving the lives of major rural farming population. Then main activities for agriculture, in related matters, irrigation, communication, educational people are given emphasis. Educational people was given emphasis, health, basic health and literacy programs, supplementary employment for income generation, housing, training, social welfare. Then another program started after 1 year that is called National National Service, NES, in 2nd October 1953. Both the programs were intended to bring about changes in people environment, although both are slow processes, but both are government programs and both emphasize cooperation with people and so that social and equal development can be possible. Thank you all. If you found interest in the video, like and subscribe. Thank you all once again.